Released in 1960, and another Billy Wilder classic is The Apartment on Arrow Academy, if Academy is still a thing that's going. This movie stars Jack Lemmon as Bud Baxter and Shirley MacLaine as Fran Kubrick. And this is a tale about a man who has a kind of solitary existence. As we meet Bud, played by Jack Lemmon, like I said, he is a kind of doormat for all these people in his work. They are using his apartment to hook up and have illicit affairs with the many women that they have. And Bud does this because, one, he doesn't really have anything else going on in his life, and two, it may get him up the corporate ladder a little bit quicker. And he does have a kind of connection with Fran, who's the elevator girl within his building. They have a kind of mutual admiration and a little bit of a flirtatious nature as well. And then we're kind of meeting Fred McMurray, who's the head of the company, Jeff, who kind of sits Bud down, tells him that he knows all about the apartment and he wants a key so that he can take his lover there as well, who happens to be Fran. So we've got a kind of love triangle going on here, but what I love most about the apartment is the characters. They all feel fully fleshed out and you get a good enough idea of who these characters are. And for the first part of the movie, it feels almost comedic, slapstickish a little bit, as we see Bud dealing with the ramifications of never getting to use his apartment, the misgivings of his neighbours as they jump to the obvious conclusions, which are completely wrong, but they get a different opinion of whom Bud is as a character. Things take a turn for the worse when Fran realises that she's in a no-hope situation with Jeff. He's never going to leave his wife. She's been part of an illicit affair, cheating on someone else's marriage with Jeff, and takes an overdose. She doesn't realise that it's Bud's apartment that she's been in, and when he comes home to find her, he has to try and fix her and take care of her, make sure everything's all right. And luckily he has Dr. Dreyfus next door, a wonderful sub-character who comes in and helps nurse Fran back to health. And throughout this moment we kind of jump to just these two characters for a long period of time, just as they have conversations, as they interact, as they play card games, as they have dinner, as they have a bond formed in front of us. And it's wonderful. And it's a movie where effectively not a great deal happens, and whereas it has some funny moments and then somehow transitions into a really dark element of the movie with an attempted suicide, and somehow manages to shake that off to become a romance for the final third of the movie. And the one thing about the apartment that is absolutely wonderful is the emotions that it makes you feel as you see these two characters, Bud and Fran, just connect. You want them to be together. They feel like a perfect fit. They feel like a couple that should and will spend the rest of their lives together if they can just go over the hurdle of everything else in their lives and realise what they already know in their hearts. And it's one of those movies that when it gets to the end, the final scene of the film is so emotional and it's so underplayed and so subtle and just left there for you, and it just feels so fitting and perfect. Very rarely do I discover a movie that has such a sublime finish as The Apartment. As we see these two characters sit down, play cards, we get Bud's confession and we get Fran's acceptance and happiness at what's going to go on and what's going to happen next. It's such a perfect ending. It doesn't feel overly dramatic, it's not overly talky, it's not in your face or staged particularly exciting. It's subdued, it's settled, it's nice. Perfect. I love the ending of this. You get lots of funny sub-characters in it as well, whether it be the Dreyfus clan, his wife, the doctor, who are incredibly funny, the landlady that comes into it, the various other people who work within the office that have been using his apartment. Watching Bud grow as a character and realise what he actually wants and breaking free from being a doormat and becoming his own person is a really nice transition as well, and it happens kind of naturally and gradually throughout the movie. It's not something, it's just a turning point, it's just a sudden realization that he's not that person anymore. Watching Fran's kind of turmoil and dealing with the situation that she's in as well, like I said, it's really kind of dark. She has a dark path to overcome, and in a movie that is light, airy and comedic, it's a strange element to have within the movie, but I feel that it works perfectly. The score is terrific and the black and white photography just looks simply stunning, and I love a lot of the scenes, particularly the party scene where there's lots going on, or the more quieter scenes where Bud's just walking through the town, settling down on a park bench, hiding out beneath a staircase waiting for someone to leave his apartment. All these just look wonderful, and it's very varied. I love the apartment, like I said, for all the looks, the photography, the actors, everything building to that final scene just creates an absolute emotional punch of a finale that I just utterly love. I think The Apartment is a terrific masterpiece of a movie. I'd love to know your thoughts on the movie. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.